This is Margaret Ann Windsor, and I wish to thank the judge in South Africa for exonerating Oscar Pistorius. I realize that there is another charge that could find him guilty of manslaughter, I believe I'm correct. I hope he is totally exonerated, and I do thank the judge. This is a wonderful man. I've put this on tapes before, and it really bothered me to see such a beautiful, kind human being mistreated. And I've put on the tapes that it could have been Reva Steenkamp that was sitting there rather facing murder charges rather than Oscar, because this is a mind control murder, and both of them are victims. He just as much as she. He's alive and going through hell, and she's dead. It could have been the other way around, and I hope that soon this whole story is told and where it leads back to the United States. Just like the Ebola, and I'm putting that in here because it's true, and AIDS. They were manufactured in a lab here, Center for Disease Control #1, out of Atlanta, and I wrote about Emory University in Atlanta, Center for Disease Control in 76 to 80. And I wrote about mind control and how deaths can be made to appear of natural cause. Wrote about Warren and Rosina Matthews, who were pathologists at Piedmont Hospital, where Larry McDonald, Congressman, U.S. Congressman, doctor, he was a urologist, practiced medicine. His plane went down when it veered off out of its airspace into Russian airspace, August the 31st of 83. And I became a candidate, and I was flown out to Larry Flint's. He had been shot in Lawrenceville, Georgia, and I was living in Marietta, Cobb County, Georgia, doing the book. And, of course, I never got the book finished because I had a letter from the U.S. Attorney, William Harper, ongoing investigation, FBI investigation, national security involved. That was dated June the 23rd of 79. April Fool Day of 80, I was filled with antifreeze and I should have died. Now, I could go on a daily basis, crimes committed against me, but I wrote about mind control and its invisible crime. These were specifically done in patterns, and they can be proven. And it goes back to, part of it is the agency doing it, but really it's the American people. They're living a good life. They don't care if it's a lie. In fact, they get mad at me. They hated me from day one. They kidnapped me. My father's King Edward VIII, who was married to my mom, an American, Claudia Ruth O'Keefe, sister to artist George O'Keefe. The whole thing about my father, it was a takedown orchestrated by the United States and the Illuminati, Freemason. It's the global government that's in place now. Obama, Elizabeth, Charles, Bilderbergers, Rockefellers, Rothschilds, the Kennedys, etc., the Clintons. It's a global, and the whole thing that they orchestrated and took down my father and put a 99-year seal on it, and then kidnapped me, my own uncle, who became illegal George VI, thus Elizabeth, and the illegal treaties that allowed the United States to, in the New World Order, to form their global government. And yes, they did. It's not just my word. I was telling it back then, and I even put this on video and have turned it over whether they wanted it or not. When they even told me they would have me arrested, the news media, which is controlled by the New World Order, the Rockefellers, right out of Rockefeller Plaza in New York. My God, it doesn't take a great brain to figure that out. But John Lennon was shot. Mark David Chapman was programmed. Larry Flint, the man that shot him in Lawrenceville in 78, March the 6th. was programmed to shoot him, and there's a whole list of them. Elvis Presley was killed. A lot of Brits have been killed in Germans. And I have to go back and wonder if mind control, it's the Tesla files that were stolen. If perhaps Hitler wasn't programmed himself. King Ferdinand, the guy, was programmed to shoot him. And then you get into Tsar Nicholas and the Soviet Union, to take down the Soviet Union. And Woodrow Wilson, the United States was involved in that, and then they killed Anastasia using the Blue Ridge mental health. So the mental health is so much a part of all this. The mental health is being blamed when it's mind control, which is a weapon. And MK Ultra was brought before Congress in the United States in 1953, given a slap on the wrist. But all it takes is people Googling mind control, MK Ultra, and you find out a lot of information. And I've been on YouTube for over a year now. But I want to get back before the tape runs out. I wanted to get back and thank this judge very much for her decision, because it was the correct one. And I hope that she has it within her power to totally exonerate the man. It really hurts, because I know that this man is a kind person. He never intended to hurt anyone. And I want to thank her again. And I hope the American press is forced to tell the truth, because they're talking about 9/11 today. My God, the press has always known this. They knew about my kidnapping. They knew about the horrific crimes committed against me personally here and against Great Britain and the UK. The whole thing was the takedown of Great Britain by the New World Order and the United States. And they look at Great Britain. Scotland is maybe going to, quote, become independent. What a joke this has all been. With my kidnapping, takedown of my father, the treaties that allowed this government to put its bases all over Great Britain, to take out Africa. That was one of the main things, too, and they've done it. The Ebola and the AIDS and all of it started right here in the United States. I said that, though, in American labs. But they've pretty much succeeded now. Obama's a part of the New World Order, the Clintons. Elizabeth sold out her country and my Uncle George and kidnapped. They had no right to, but they did, and so far it's worked. But anyway, this was to thank the judge very much for her decision.